Welcome to the Workiz podcast, the ultimate podcast dedicated to navigating the dynamic landscape of the home service industry. Delve into the world of business strategies, innovation, and growth as we bring you insightful discussions on the latest trends, success stories, and expert advice. Welcome to another episode of Workiz Unplugged. Today, we're unlocking the secrets to success in the locksmith industry with a true expert, Wayne Winton. Wayne is not just the owner of Tri-County Locksmith Service, he's also a keynote speaker, business mentor, and industry thought leader. From securing homes and businesses to mentoring fellow locksmiths and speaking some of the biggest stages in the industry, Wayne has seen it all. In this episode, we'll delve into the challenges and opportunities of running a locksmith business, the evolution of security technology, and how field service professionals can level up their skills. Plus, we'll get some expert insights on customer trust, business growth, and the future of locksmithing. So whether you're in the field service industry, a business owner, or just curious about the world of security, stay tuned and let's just get started. Thank you, Wayne, for being on here. We're super excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Of course. I know I gave a bit of background on you, but would love to be able to start with hearing a little bit more about what inspired you to start Tri-County Locksmith Service.
It was a crazy ordeal to get to this position. Actually, before this, I was in the oil field. Typical 20-year-old bodies, it takes them in, it sucks them in, it spits them out, broken and battered. And I was no different. We went in there, we ran heavy equipment, we built a lot of the roads for oil patch services and whatnot. And it's brutal work. It was 16, 18-hour days, 7 days a week for months on end. And yes, you can do that. Yes, you can provide a nice family lifestyle for your family at that rate and at that pay with all the overtime. But you do start to realize that your body's not going to be able to keep up with that long term. And so eventually what happened in the 2008, 2009 housing crisis, eventually we survived all the way till about 2012. And then the company that I was working for started doing layoffs. I was the last equipment operator laid off. And I told them, I'm like, hey, you know what, guys, if you lay me off, I'm probably not coming back. I'll probably just find something else to do. And so that's exactly what happened. This business, I didn't actually start the company. The business was already established and the owner was getting ready to sell and retire. So we made an offer for the business. We checked everything out and everything looked really good. It came with the business, the mobile service, a van that was fully stocked with the equipment that we needed. And it came with 90 days training. Looking back now, 90 days training is not anywhere near enough to learn not only the industry, how to do the job, but how to run a business as well. Fortunately, I stuck in there, I hung it out, and I went in feet first, and it's a sink or swim model. I didn't have a backup plan. It was one of those situations where I burned my boats. We moved up to a new area where the service area was established. I moved my family up here and hit the ground running, and luckily, we were able to make it, and we've survived since 2012. So we've been in business almost 13 years now. We're the #1 locksmith in the area. Everybody knows us by name. We get a ton of name referrals. We're the #1 advertiser as well. And we just continue to grow and service our customers. And it's been an amazing journey. It really has.
Yeah, that's wild too. And it's always, I love hearing the stories of like people getting, I don't want anyone to be laid off, right? But you always hear those stories about how like something might like cause something in your life that's a redirection for you, and look where you are now. That's
Right.
really awesome. I'd love to hear about some of the biggest challenges you faced in those early days when you first started in 2012.
Oh my goodness. It was knowledge and gaining information. At that point in time, YouTube wasn't anything like it was now. Instagram wasn't even a thing. TikTok wasn't around. There wasn't really any resources except for education through the associations or through manufacturers. But the problem with that is they only offer training once or twice a year. And to give you an example, when you're first starting out your business or your company, the first year is probably going to be a loss. That's usually pretty common. And then you don't actually start to break even or make money for another year or 2 or 3 later. So where do your profits come from to actually invest in education to boost yourself, right? And that's where I came up with a lot of the things that I do. That's why I do the video educational series. I run an on-demand video education series. We send these to suppliers and manufacturers, and we actually work with suppliers and manufacturers to help get information out and content out about those products. And the drive behind it is because I didn't have any of those resources Therefore, I know how valuable they are. And that's why I like to provide that content and that value to the other locksmiths who are starting their businesses or who are breaking into the industry now. So that's the motivation behind it. And those are some of the biggest challenges. The first example is going to a program called Safe Tech. It's a week long and it's only once a year. And in order to do that, I spent probably $2,000 on the classes and education there because it's a week long. There's at least $1,000 in food and lodging, hotel, all that stuff. So we're up to $3,000 investment now. Plus there's a rental car or plane tickets. So you're up to $4,000. And then not to mention at that time, we could make about $1,000 a day working here. If I'm the only person and I'm a single owner operator, I now have to factor in that I'm going to not be in my service area. I'm not going to be creating any income for that time. So you have to consider that into your equation there to where now I've lost $5,000 to $6,000 in income alone. So it's a $10,000 investment is what the number that I came up with to go to this and learn. That was one of the biggest challenges. So that's why I offer the on-demand training now. You can use some of my training programs. And if you need to install a hinge tomorrow and you've never done it before, you can actually watch one of my videos. You can order the product and you can be educated and learn how to do that overnight and be able to accomplish that task. Yeah,
it's something, and it's interesting to hear because there's so many things that go into what you have to evaluate for your return on investment, right? And that's what we're talking about here. So having something like that quick and easy to the button is so helpful for so many people. Like, I don't know how to install it, honestly. So having something like that you offer is huge, especially for people starting out too. I love that. As your business has continued to grow, what strategies or decisions made the biggest impact on your success?
Investing in myself, investing in personal development, books, programs, seminars, workshops, turning your mobile service into an education center. I'll give you an example. I bought my most recent vehicle that we added was a 2020 Ford F350, and that's my personal service vehicle. And it has currently about 240,000 miles on it. So in 5 years, we've put over 240,000 miles on a vehicle. That gives you an idea of how much I'm in the truck. And instead of just listening to the same music or comedy or simple things like that over and over again, what I wanted to do is turn that into my university. And that's exactly what I did. So we'd listen to educational programs, people that have set up businesses before, selling books, learning how to negotiate, learning business, and just learning all of those things that I could possibly learn and utilizing every minute of time that I'm not actually on a call or working specifically, because there's usually an hour drive in between each one of these calls, and then I'll be on the call for maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then it's back into the truck. So really investing in your own education, whether it's about the job itself, whether you're learning how to make keys better or work on locks better or expand your knowledge base there, or whether you're learning personal development type things, attitude, behavior, human development, and business in general, overall, how to manage money, how to manage a business, how to start a business, and how to operate that business like a professional and not like somebody who just bought their own job. That seems to be the number one problem that I see with so many people out there is they shift from, oh, this lockout was $150 and they're only paying me $20 an hour. They made $130 or $140 off of me, right? Where's the rest of that money going? It goes to a lot of other things such as insurance taxes, payroll taxes, all the things that come with it. And so they end up buying a job and not running a company. And that's one of the biggest things that I've had to learn the hard way is how to run a company like a business and not just substitute and be my own boss and basically earn my own job.
I love that. I think that's awesome too. I think that shows just like why you guys have been the top leading, right? Too, because you're constantly investing in yourself and your growth in the company, which ultimately it benefits everyone, right? Beyond just like that and your perspective, I think that's clearly a big standout for you. How do you feel like you've built a brand that stands out in the industry?
Everything is service-based. Customer's number one. If you put the customer number one, you'll never have a problem. If I will take a loss in the company in order to make sure that we have a satisfied customer, and you're always going to have those unsatisfied customers. It's just like people. If you go to a school you're going to have people that you get along with, and you're going to have people that you don't get along with. And there's nothing that you can do to avoid that. You can't please everybody. And if you try to, you're going to end up getting broken in the process because you're not going to be able to accomplish that task. So the main thing is learning who your main customer base is, over deliver and under promise. Just go out there and, hey, here's what we're going to do for you. And then go above and beyond, go over the top, show up early, don't show up on time for appointments. Make sure you stay in really good communication with the customer. I'll give you an example of what sets me apart right here. So when we schedule a call with the customer. The Workiz platform actually really helps out with this process, because once we schedule them, it takes away a bunch of steps that I don't have to do anymore and that my technician doesn't have to do. We put them on the schedule, and then they automatically get a text message that says, hey, we're getting ready to come out there, much like a dentist or like you get a hair appointment or stuff like that in other industries. We're now able to adapt that into our industry, and that also cuts down on gone on arrivals or GOAs. That way they're getting a message that warns them, and it gives them that opportunity to either reschedule or back out before we drive all the way out to that person, and then we waste time, fuel, and money, and then we could have put another customer into that time slot. So getting them that text message, establishing the connection with them, getting there on time or early is very, very important. Or if we are going to be late, then we'll communicate with them and let them know that, and let them know there's unforeseen circumstances. Then making sure that we are professional, we dress nice, we look good, we look professional, the vehicles look professional. When we show up on site, we understand what we're talking about. Myself and my technicians are very well educated in the sources or the areas that we're educated on. And if it's an aspect that we're not familiar with, like we don't do a lot of stuff with automotive, therefore I refer them to an automotive specialist. We don't pretend to be who we're not. We're going to do the things that we do, and we're going to do them extremely well. And then we do them well for the customer. And then we obviously follow up. Again, Workiz is fantastic about that. We have it set up so an automatic text message goes out to say, hey, here's our review page. If you enjoyed your service, please go here. My reviews have gone through the roof since we've started using that program. So that's really impacted the business in a positive way. And then also we'll take pictures before and after. I'll take video before and after. And sometimes clients aren't able to be on site, like we're working for a property manager or we're working for somebody who's out of state. There's a lot of Airbnb and a lot of rental properties. So I will take video, quick video. This is what your lock is doing before. And then after the fact, here's what we did. And here's your lock working afterwards. And that does a lot of things. It really showcases exactly what we did. So they know what we did. We're completely transparent about everything that was done. They're shown down the price breakdown. And if there's any problems or warranty calls later, we're able to put those things in that Workiz attachment site and be able to make the notes in there so that if there is a problem with a warranty issue in the future, we're able to reference it and say, hey, here's exactly what happened, and refresh their memory.
I love that. I think there's a few things that stuck out to me from what you said. Something I actually live by is over deliver, under promise, right? I think that's huge. And I think that just goes to show that you guys are running off of like integrity, honesty, and professionalism. And I think those are the main things. And of course, communication based on what is setting you as apart. And it all makes sense. And I think a lot of our listeners here listening on will be able to take something from that too, because that's huge. I know you started speaking on it, but I'd love to hear a little bit more. Was there like a specific moment that you had where you realized Workiz was like a total game changer for your locksmith business?
It was the first 30 days of using the product. It really was. It was noticing the reviews option, that extra communication with the customer. So right then and there, our GOAs or gone on arrivals went down 80% or more. So that's saving the company time and money, because I still have to pay my technician to go out, whether they're gone, whether they're there or not. I still have to pay the fuel. I still have to pay the tires, the maintenance, the oil changes. I have to pay the technician. And then we're losing money at that point because they could have been running another job. So just that factor alone has probably saved the company, tens of thousands of dollars instantly, and just gone on arrival, making sure that doesn't happen. The other thing is the reviews aspect on the back end. Probably before we started using the program, we would average maybe 20, 25 reviews in a year's time, which is pretty good. But then again, I'd have to go in there and manually send that email or that text message out. Hey, if you enjoyed our service, the reviews really help small businesses. I don't technically ask for a review, but I say, hey, reviews really help small businesses. And then it clicks, oh, okay, if you really liked it, then go here. So I would say that our reviews since using Workiz has probably doubled, at least in that time frame. We don't have a full year to look at just yet, but with what we've done so far, I would say it's doubled. I would say we're going to see 50 or 60 reviews at least this year just because of that. And then just being able to see the schedule, seeing where the technicians are, having that live GPS system so I can see, okay, my tech's over here. I can send him a call right away. He knows where I'm at. We can communicate a whole lot better, and we can both incorporate and run the system very efficiently. And then on the last aspect of it, with the program we were running before that didn't offer tips or anything like that, and you would really be surprised at how many people will actually push that tip button. And that benefits both myself and the company and my technician in two ways. The company gets more money because I don't really pull the tips out for me. It just goes into the company account. But for my technician, they get that extra little boost. They get that extra little bump. And that really makes a lot of difference when you can put $200, $300, $400 on their paycheck from the tips that they got. That doesn't cost me any more money. The customer gave that to them directly. And our average invoice is $400 or $500, and people will put a 25% tip on top of that. So it just really, really benefits the company, and it benefits the technicians most of all because it gives them that extra boost without the company having to come in and bonus them out of the company's profit end.
That's amazing. That's exactly what you're talking about is why I work for Workiz. It's why I do what I do. Beyond just being a podcast host, I also work as an account executive. So I help people and businesses see if Workiz would be a good fit to be able to help them do exactly what you're talking about, right? Increasing those reviews and giving a good client experience, but also making sure that you're taking care of your team, taking care of the techs too. And that's why I'm here. So that's so exciting to hear too. I love that. Beyond that too, on your end, you're a keynote speaker, business mentor, content creator in the locksmith industry. We talked about it briefly a little bit about what drives you to do that because you didn't have some of the information that readily available for you at the time. But beyond that, what's like the biggest driver for you to keep doing what you're doing with that?
The impact it makes on other people. As soon as you take the spotlight off of yourself and see what you're doing is benefiting other people, and you get the DMs and you get the emails and you get the handwritten letters, and you go to a convention and you're just sitting having a drink and somebody comes up and says, hey man, that one thing you really said really helped my business, or that one thing you talked about really got me through a tough time, or I was really stuck on a job and then I watched one of your videos and I was able to pull through that job and able to service my customer better. That's what motivates me. It's not about me. It's about the people that the content reaches, and it's about the people that the content helps. Once again, in that time frame in 2012, 2013, you could go on YouTube and there was virtually no information whatsoever on locksmithing, nothing good anyways. It was just a bunch of random people, handymen that put up some crappy video that wasn't even, it wasn't just wrong information. It was actually bad, inaccurate information leading in the opposite direction. And I wanted to put something out there, and I have to walk a fine line, and I want to touch on this as well, because there's a fine line between showing people how to pick locks and how to bypass security for fame, like some of the lockpicking people do on YouTube out there. That's not what my channel's about. My channel's really about how do we accomplish a task? How do we install a part? How do we fix or repair something that you're having a problem with? How do we solve the problem properly without giving away those trade secrets like safe opening or lock picking or bypassing and those kinds of things? So I'm trying to walk that fine line, showing people, hey, here are some solutions to the problems that you may encounter. But by the same token, I want to maintain my integrity and not show people how to open up a safe or pick a lock, because what if it doesn't matter what your intent is when you put it out, but how many people are using those lockpicking videos to commit a crime, to commit an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend is jealous and they come in and cause some harm in one way, shape, or another, or just general theft in general. The thieves have YouTube too, people. Let's not be naive about this. Or the parents who went and did the actual right thing and bought a safe from the hardware store. And yeah, it might be a crappy safe, but they at least took the initiative to put their prescription medication or their handgun or their firearm in there. And now somebody's going to show them how to bypass that. The kids are the ones watching these programs. How would it make you feel if somebody used your video and your information to either commit a crime or OD on something or get hooked back on some prescription medication or get access to a firearm and do the unimaginable with those things? So that's where I run with my channel is I walk that fine line. I try and stay on the good side of things, and I try and help people and provide helpful information. And then any of the technical content is actually put out through like distributors or vetted sources that show the safe opening techniques, the lock picking techniques, and the more hidden side of things, the security bypass side of things.
I love that. I think that's awesome that your intent behind it is to help people, but you're still taking the precautions to be intentional behind where you put the information, where you don't. I think that's awesome. I think that shows, again, your integrity to your business as well, and to the people, really to the people in general. Beyond that, too, I know that in this industry, it's always evolving and changing with new security technologies and smart locks. How do you see these advancements shaping the future of locksmithing?
It's happening right now. I've been a huge non-supporter of biometric technology and facial recognition and fingerprint technology and things like that in the past, simply because it wasn't there yet. It wasn't ready. It wasn't efficient enough. It wasn't effective enough, and it wasn't reliable enough. We are now seeing that it is coming to fruition, and those products have actually improved leaps and bounds. And so that's where the industry's headed right now. You got a smart car, you got a smartphone, you got a smart TV. What's the logical next solution? A smart home. A smart home where you can control your lighting, you can control your locks, you can control your cameras, you can watch and see what's going on. You have climate control that you can control from your phone. Smoke alarms. You'll know that if the smoke alarm goes off, you'll get a notification on your phone. You can look and see if your house is on fire via camera. One of the things here, being in Colorado, we're next to the Aspen area. There's 20, 30, 50, 60, 70, $80 million homes. And if the heater goes out, what happens is then the heat goes out, the temperature drops, then guess what? The pipes freeze. And then now you have a flood in the house. So there are temperature sensors and climate control sensors that will send you warnings before that happens. So then you can send and dispatch a technician to go out to that house and get that taken care of. And again, I can unlock the door from my phone. I can send them a temporary e-key. I can see when they're there on my camera. I can take care of everything. It's like being home away from home. And with so many rental properties, Airbnb locations, people have second, third, fourth, fifth investment properties. This is what they want, and this is what the industry wants, and this is what the consumer wants. And it's going to be the number one thing moving forward in the industry is smart home adaption and smart home automation. For sure. Yeah, I've definitely seen like bits and pieces of that too, but it's wild because of the ramp up of like how advanced we're getting quickly. And we're seeing the, like you said, the fruition of what we've done in the past to now. It's wild. How would you say locksmiths can stay competitive in technology that's continuing to change like this all the time? Be willing to adapt, be willing to learn, be willing to stay at the forefront. If you think that you're going to maintain your locksmith business just rekeying mechanical locks and doing the things that people did 20, 30 years ago in the next 5 to 10 years, you're sorely mistaken and you're cutting yourself very short. You can be the best locksmith in the world as some of those older things, but if you can't advertise and you can't stay up with the times and you can't work on an electronic lock or you can't install an electronic lock or you don't know the features of an electronic lock, this is what people are requesting. Almost every single family living center, almost every condo association is upgrading. Schools are upgrading. They want that quick lockdown feature. They want to be able to lock down quickly. And they just want the features that these electronic locks have to offer. And yes, there is some mechanical rekeying behind it, and everything I personally believe should have a mechanical key override. As you can tell, like when people lose power, like in Houston, or when the fires take stuff out in California, when you don't have power for multiple days, you're always going to have to rely on that mechanical system as a backup. But for the most part, when people have the opportunity to have those advantages of the electronic portion, they're going to take advantage and they're going to want to use that for sure. I love that. And I think being adaptable is huge, regardless of like technology advancements, just in general and being a business, having that adaptability is massive. A theme that I've noticed, like just from talking with you too, and I'm sure listeners can hear that too, is a lot of what you've done has built a lot of trust
like with your customers and with your clients that you're working with. And that has positioned you to be like the go-to locksmith in your county as well, and the cities surrounding you in Colorado. What would you recommend for people to build that trust alongside also building that strong go-to locksmith in their own community? How would a business do that?
You have to understand what you're selling. A locksmith, when you break it down, when you really break it down, a locksmith sells security and peace of mind. I don't sell locks. I sell security and peace of mind. When they've called, they're checking to see, are they professional? Do they have integrity? Are they honest? Can I trust this person? Because how easy would it be for me to install something on somebody's house and keep a code for myself or keep a key to myself? I've even been approached I've literally had a bulletproof vest on and gone and worked with the sheriff's department and done gain entry on different locations and doing evictions and things like that. And I've had people, while doing an eviction, say, hey, here's $500, leave me a key outside the gate. And those things just don't happen. I've had people try and have me open cars that weren't theirs, or homes that they weren't supposed to be opening, or even safes and gun safes and whatnot. So the fact that I started doing my due diligence from the beginning, hey, I'm going to need your name, telephone number, email address, all of your contact information. You're going to have a photo ID upon arriving at the site. If we're opening up a home or apartment, I'm going to need to see a piece of mail that has your name on it that shows that you're supposed to be there, or that address has to be on your driver's license. If I'm opening up a safe, it happens a lot when somebody passes away, I'm going to need to see power of attorney. And when I start asking those questions, they start to know that because I'm asking those questions, I am the real deal. I am legitimate, because we are making sure that we are doing our due diligence, is what I refer to it as. All you have to do is answer the phone, be honest, show up, do what you say you're going to do, and treat people the way you want to be treated. Or my rule is, when I teach my employees how to treat people, treat them like you treat your mother or father. Treat them like you treat your parents. If you treat every single customer with that level of respect, then it will be returned. It's the law of reciprocity, to where when you show and give that respect, it will then be given back to you. And if we ever have a customer who tries to take advantage of that or tries to bend any of our rules, then we will quickly drop them and fire them as a customer and get a better customer, a better quality of customer.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you hold yourself to that standard and hold your clients to that standard too. And I do agree with the rule of I can never say that word.
Reciprocity.
Thank you. I never could say it, but agreed. I think that's just part of the law of it too, right? It's part of what's going to happen when you put that out in the world. You'll get that back too. I love that. I think our listeners are all going to be able to learn something from that too. It's been great having this conversation with you today. I did want to leave off by asking, what's on the horizon for you, and what should our listeners keep an eye out for you?
Anything and everything. I'm currently the Southwest Board Director for the Associated Locksmiths of America. I'm planning on getting more involved with that and trying to bring the associations back where they need to be. The problem with so much free information being on the internet is that a lot of times the associations get left behind, and I want to really bring that back and show that they add a lot of value with networking and just the level of education that they have to offer, the vetting processes and whatnot that they have. Those are still extremely valuable in the industry. I'm currently filming a locksmith documentary that's going up on YouTube, so I want to create more of a public awareness of what locksmiths actually do. You would be surprised that a lot of the public actually has a very negative view of locksmiths because they have been scammed, because these larger cities, you see these 1999 lockout people, and then what happens is it's a bait and switch. You get some guy who shows up in an unmarked car, he drills your lock or cuts it off or damages your home or your car, and then wants you to go to the ATM and get him $600 or $700 in cash. If that happened to me, I'm sure I would have a very negative opinion on that as well. But because they Googled a locksmith and that's what came up, and those are the people that came out, that's what they have their opinions based on. And I want to create awareness of what a professional locksmith should be doing. They should be vetting you. They should be asking for photo ID. They should be asking for registration on the vehicle or a piece of mail at home. They should be asking all of these additional questions. And if they're not, then you're probably not working with the most professional or the most locksmith company that has the most integrity out there. And maybe we should do a little bit more research. And if somebody can watch these, number one, they're designed for entertainment, so people can actually see what we do. I don't just rekey locks and open cars like the locksmith. That's what people think locksmiths do. And we do so much more. I open safes, we move safes, we do access control, we do cameras, we do biometric locks. There's so much. The repair of antique locks, just so many different things that we do. And I capture that through that locksmith documentary, and I show the public what we actually do and what you should be looking for to help repair and rebuild that relationship with the public, so that hopefully they know what to look for in a locksmith. They know how to find a professional locksmith. They don't get hooked on that scam bait and switch stuff that you'll see out there, and they'll know what to expect from a professional locksmith. I hope to raise the bar in the industry as professionals.
I love that. I'm going to be watching the documentary. Better keep me posted about when you drop that so that I can watch it. Or maybe we could have a red carpet premiere. Not sure.
Sure.
That'd be pretty cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Wayne, for taking the time to hop on here with us at Workiz Unplugged. We're super excited to have you. We're going to be watching out for that documentary, and then maybe we'll have you back on again to talk about it.
That's great. We're up to episode 16 now. So if you do want to find it, the Wayne Winton Locksmith documentary on YouTube, you can check it out anytime.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for tuning into the Workiz podcast. We hope today's episode has provided valuable insights and inspiration to propel your business forward. Remember to subscribe to our podcast for more engaging discussions and expert advice on navigating the dynamic landscape of the field service industry. I hope you got to unplug a little with us. Until next time, keep innovating, growing, and delivering exceptional service. We'll see you in the next episode of Workiz Unplugged.